this conference, and not just by our eyes, by everybody's eyes. That's important. That's important for them to feel good about the work that they put in, how hard we train, how hard we practice, how hard Coach Cal pushes these kids in order to be a great team. And the result of that is winning. So as much as we can win, we want to win.
Why is that important to feel like I'm the gold standard?
Because when we get into a NCAA tournament, every game is intense. Every game is, every possession matters. Defensively, the way that game went against Tennessee is how we have to play in that tournament. So that's vital. That's vital.
Admiral Schofield said that you guys came out and hit him in the mouth, and there was nothing they could do about it. Was that the moment this year, finally, that they responded to the biggest stage and did it immediately?
I don't know. I thought North Carolina, they jumped on them early. There's been a couple occasions where the initial part of the game, the start of the game, they've been the aggressor. Tennessee was another one. You know, no secrets. Tennessee is a great team. They were the #1 team in the country, well-deserved, well-coached. But these kids here, they went through the ups and downs of basketball, really, because they started out with all this hype. We go to Bahamas, we play great, we beat professional teams, and then they have the Duke game. Well, they went through the lows of that. And so to come back and fight through, confidence is a big thing in this game. So when they go through the mental lows of basketball, they get tested. And it's not about a strategy, a X and O, or it's more the mental approach to being great. And that's the standard.
Did the Duke hangover last longer than you expected?
Probably to the surrounding people more than to the players. You know, the fans, their parents, us as coaches, but the kids, you know, they were hurt, they were devastated, but they moved on from it.
You look at, you know, Reed and PJ, it's kind of been EJ's in for PJ, Nick's in for Reed. Cal maybe mentioned trying to work EJ and PJ together. How difficult is that kind of transition? I think most people just kind of feel, you know, you got two posts on the floor, it doesn't matter which is which.
I say it again, I think we have 4 of the most unique bigs in the country. Nick, EJ, Reed, and PJ. To me, it really doesn't matter which 2 is on the floor. To be honest with you, there are times where if coach wanted to, he could put all 3 on the court. So which 2 plays the best together, coach will figure that out. There may be a time when EJ and PJ are on the court together. They're, again, unique players.
Nick talks about foul trouble. I mean, there's several times where he's picked up quick fouls. He says they're ticky-tacks.
Yeah.
What do they look like when you see them and study them?
Again, the mental lapses, you know, 5 free throws in 30, 40 seconds, whatever time lapse that was, where we're shooting a free throw, he gets a foul, they make 2, come down the other end, he fouls a 3-point shooter. Just a little mental lapse. No need for it. But the first half of that game, Nick Richards was really good.
Missouri had 25 turnovers in their last game, and I think you guys are much better when defense turns into offense up and down. So how does that play on your mind to play in a team that struggles to hold on to the ball?
I think that Coach Barbie and Coach Cal have done an unbelievable job of getting this team to buy into defense. They work together hand in hand. Coach gives Tony a bunch of responsibilities and different strategies, different ways of guarding different things. And what we found is that when we are the aggressor defensively and we're swarming, we're pretty good, which leads into transition baskets. And that's the way we want to play. So the fact that Missouri has shown a tendency to turn the ball over, our job is to be to pressure them. And we have to pressure them without fouling and allow that to get us in transition, where our young players are comfortable and they are really fast and they're really athletic and they're tough to deal with. This team, when we're getting transition baskets and we're playing free, it's a different atmosphere. Ashton Hagan starts that with his on-the-ball defense, and then when we get the rebound or a steal and it's in his hands and he flies up the court, we're different.
Kenny, talking about Ashton, Cal City thought he had hit a wall, just as freshman do sometimes. How important do you think it was for him to have a good performance against Tennessee?
More than just Tennessee, against what people consider the #1 point guard in this conference. For him to have some success against him was vital because we've been on him about being focused, being disciplined, being disruptive. And it's hard. He's never worked as hard as he's worked here. He's never had to focus as much as he's having to focus here. And he is a freshman. There are times when he pouts. We have to address it. There are times when he's immature. We have to address it. But then there's times when he's locked in. And that's been a big difference in our team. When he's locked in, we're really good.
What sort of things make him pout?
Just when he doesn't get what he wants, a normal 17, 18.
Court,
on the court mostly. You know, these kids all have pride, and so when they're confronted for the first time or amongst their teammates, their peers, they get defensive. Ashton no different, and we have to address it. So
I noticed at Mississippi State, I can't remember which half, but they called a foul on Keldon. He was near half court, and he turned to you guys, and he was very demonstrative about with his expression and
yes,
motions. What goes through your mind when you see that?
how young they really are. You know, people all the time talk about, I don't want to really deal with a bunch of freshmen. I want to be a veteran laden team. Well, talent, as Coach has said before, it supersedes that. And if you have talented freshmen, you're going to have to deal with some of those emotional roller coasters. And how you deal with it is vital. Because if you deal with it and you take their confidence away or they're feeling good about what they're doing away, they're not the same players. So it's a delicate balance. It's a very delicate balance. And I would like to think we've been at the forefront of dealing with young people and helping them play the way they need to play and learn to be winning basketball players.
Is it a different approach for different players?
Of course, it has to be. It has to be. Each kid is different. And, you know, I have a philosophy that I heard years ago. You can't coach what you don't know. And every kid isn't the same. The way Keldon Johnson's personality is different than the way Tyler's personality is, which is different than the way Ashton's, which is totally different than the way EJ is. Those four freshmen have to be dealt with separately and more geared toward them and what they are and who they are.
Who's the freshman since you've been here that you could ride as hard as you wanted and it wasn't going to fail? They were just going to take it and go.
Brandon Knight will be the first.
Right.
He will be the first. No matter what we said, no matter how hard we pushed him, he was out to prove to us that he can do whatever.
How about the way you guys, especially Coach Cal, push PJ? It seems like it's produced results, you know.
So proud of PJ and what he's done. Love the way that he's approaching the game. And you're right, Coach has been really, really focused on him playing to a certain standard. Last 6 games, he was unbelievable to finish games. And Coach said you're going to get rebounds, attempts, 60% of the time. That's not who you are. You have to be a 90% attempt rebounder. Don't mean you get them, but you're attempting 90% of the time. So as the world is giving him all this praise, Coach Cal is saying, I need more. And that's what this is about, and you see it in his play.
If he got the 90, what are the chances Coach would say? What about 95?
No question about it. If he gets to 90, it's going to be 105.
Kenny, did job you guys did on Grant Williams where you only got 4 shots, how much of that was Reed and what was he effective in doing in limiting Williams?
I think Williams has really tortured this conference with his physical play. He's dominated this conference, not just this year, last year as well with physical play. Reed Travis, that fits right into his hands. He's a very physical forward who has really learned to move his feet and be defensive here. And it doesn't always show up in the stats what he means to this program, but I can only say this to you guys. I can't imagine Reed Travis not on this team and what he's meant. Imagine being at Stanford for the last 2 years, averaging 20 and 8 and 9, and you come here, the numbers aren't the same, but your impact on the program is more. Because now you're winning against the #1 team in the country, you're beating teams, and you're a major part of that, and it's not centered around you getting 20. You're playing with other great players, you're learning to sacrifice, to be a great teammate, and to play winning basketball.
1 or 2 more guys.
I noticed PJ and Reed both had key block shots against Tennessee. Did those guys take it personal when you all stand up here and say, we don't have a rim protector, Nick's not in the game?
No question. I think Coach Cal does a good job of sticking the needle in again. When Nick is not in the game and the other 2 are, of saying, look, guys, no disrespect, but if you don't block shots, I got to play Nick or I got to play EJ. I love you, but I'm playing those 2 because we can't allow offenses to get layups.
How tough is it for Ashton? He's got to go up against Jordan Bone. He's got to go up against Tremont Waters. Most nights he's going up against a really good player.
I think it's great experience for him. Again, you're talking about a freshman who's talented, but he's playing against guys that's been in college 1 or 2 or 3 years. And we're asking him to hold your own, if not dominate your position. It's not easy against the best players in this conference. Again, he's learning on the go. He's getting better. He's vital to the success of this team, and we can't allow him to come at his pace. His pace means we get beat in an NCAA tournament game, where he goes through a 3-minute lull of where his energy isn't where it needs to be. He has to be 100% on and focused and disciplined and energetic, and because he's vital.
It looked like near the end of the game, overrated chant kind of started to break out, and Coach Calipari turned and shut it down. Is that what he was doing, and what are your kind of thoughts on that chant overall?
Don't really have a thought on the chant, but I think that Coach Cal, we respect our opponents. Coach Cal really respects Coach Barnes and their program. So we don't want to, we're Kentucky, we don't have to do that. We don't have to talk about a team being overrated. They do it to us, but we're not going to do that to them. And I thought it was a class act for Coach Cal to do that.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody.